Mike Ashley's 14-year ownership of Premier League side Newcastle United has come to an end after a Saudi-led consortium completed its £300 million takeover of the club. The league has approved the takeover, which was delayed by almost 18 months due to a dispute between beIN Sports and the Saudis over illegal streaming. Newcastle United's all-time top goal scorer Alan Shearer has joined thousands of fans in celebrating the news, with Ashley having been an unpopular figure at the club that sits second from bottom in the table. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which now has an 80% stake in the club, has assets of £250 billion, sparking hopes among supporters that the side will sign a high-profile manager and some of the most talented players in the world. Amanda Staveley, who will sit on the board as Chief Executive Officer of PCP Capital Partners, said, "We intend to instill a united philosophy across the club, establish a clear purpose, and help provide leadership that will allow Newcastle United to go on to big achievements over the long term. Our ambition is aligned with the fans, to create a consistently successful team that's regularly competing for major trophies and generates pride across the globe." In a statement after the takeover, the Football League said, "The Premier League, Newcastle United Football Club and St James Holdings Limited have today settled the dispute over the takeover of the club by the consortium of PIF, PCP Capital Partners and RB Sports and Media." Following the completion of the Premier League's owners and directors test, the club has been sold to the consortium with immediate effect. The legal disputes concern which entities would own and/or have the ability to control the club following the takeover. All parties have agreed the settlement is necessary to end the long uncertainty for fans over the club's ownership. The Premier League has now received legally binding assurances that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will not control Newcastle United Football Club. All parties are pleased to have concluded this process, which gives certainty and clarity to Newcastle United Football Club and their fans. Newcastle also released a statement, confirming that Yasir Al-Rumayyan, the governor of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, will act as the club's non-executive chairman. The statement added, "The investment group is comprised of long-term, patient investors who have every confidence in the future success of the club."
Is the deal done, Amanda?
It's done.
How are you feeling?
Fantastic, thank you. Fantastic. Really, really proud. Really, really pleased for everybody.
Amanda.
Give us a fist. I've seen you many times on the TV. Thanks for all the wonderful support.
Cheers, Amanda.
Thank you very much.
Commitment, Amanda.
Oh no, well, it was all about you guys now. It's all about you.
No, it's all about you now. We need you now. We need to turn this 14 years around now.
Well, just wait for us. Give us a wave there for us. That's great. Thank you.
Amanda, will success follow this takeover?
I hope it's been a long time coming, but yeah, absolutely. That's, obviously that's top of our agenda.
Can you just give us a snapshot of some of the plans, Amanda?
Well, I think we just arrived here. I just probably need to get myself inside, but I'm going to talk to you all about the plans and everything else. We've taken us 4 years to get here today. I know everybody's got a lot of questions about managers and players and things, but right now we just want to get inside, get there and do a review of the business, and we're going to let you all know the plans. But we're here to invest. We are patient. We are, the PIF is an autonomous, commercially driven investment fund, and with Jamie Rubin, we're here to make sure that we try to become the best custodians of this club we can be. You're the best fans, greatest fans in the world. You deserve
With glee, this long-running saga. The fans in Newcastle are beside themselves with glee. This long-running saga is at an end. The takeover has been completed. It brings an end to Mike Ashley's tenure at the club, and it's been a fairly turbulent time.
Today's announcement is the conclusion of a thorough and detailed process that has allowed the investment group to arrive at a deal that benefits all stakeholders and will leave Newcastle United well placed to pursue a clear, long-term strategy. The approval of the takeover means the end of Mike Ashley's tenure as owner. The Sports Direct boss bought the Magpies in 2007, but has been criticized by supporters for a perceived failure to invest in the team. On the 6th of October, beIN and the Saudi state resolved their issues, paving the way for the takeover to complete, more than a year after the group first expressed interest in buying Newcastle. beIN had been opposed to the takeover, saying the ban and piracy of its content in Saudi Arabia was damaging to sport rights holders. The Qatari network had been unable to broadcast in Saudi Arabia for the last 4.5 years, as part of a diplomatic dispute, but the ban is set to come to an end. The consortium previously withdrew after the Premier League identified the Saudi stake as a director with control over the club, which would have made it subject to the league's owners and directors test as part of the takeover process. The Competition Appeals Tribunal heard last week the league had been improperly influenced by beIN and rival Premier League clubs in its consideration of the takeover. Mike Ashley is separately engaged in arbitration proceedings with the Premier League over the takeover of the club. The proceedings were engaged after Newcastle United waited months for the league to approve the deal, and while the bid was never formally rejected, the Premier League was not satisfied over issues concerning ownership, amid a row over TV piracy. Mr. Ashley bought Sir John Hall's 41% stake in Newcastle in May 2007 for £55.4 million, and in June he had complete control of the club. Analysis by Tom Parmenter, sports correspondent. The Mike Ashley era at Newcastle has done something quite profound to some of the most dedicated and fanatical supporters in the land. It sucked the hope away. The 14 years under Ashley's questionable stewardship have ground them down, blunted expectations and taken the joy out of their football. Some have simply walked away, numb at what's happened, both on and off the pitch. To many of them, Ashley out is now all that matters. However, many people line up to criticize the huge Saudi investment at St. James Park. The fans have lived the last 14 years and have got to a place where almost anyone with the money and ambition will do. The dream on Tyneside is the kind of Middle Eastern-funded revolution that Manchester City had from Abu Dhabi or that Paris Saint-Germain has enjoyed from Qatar. If the money flows in and is invested properly, not just in exciting new players, then anything could happen. And that's what they've missed, the chance to really hope and dream again. As the doomed European Super League project proved, clubs belong to the fans. They will outlive any owners, and right now, rightly or wrongly, most Newcastle fans believe they are getting their club back. Prior to the takeover being approved by the league, Amnesty International reminded the league that Saudi Arabia's human rights record should be a factor in approving the deal. Instead of allowing those implicated in serious human rights violations to walk into English football simply because they have deep pockets, we've urged the Premier League to change their owners and directors test to address human rights issues, Amnesty UK Chief Executive Sasha Deshmukh said. Ever since this deal was first talked about, we said it represented a clear attempt by the Saudi authorities to sports wash their appalling human rights record with the glamour of top-flight football. Under Mohammed bin Salman, the human rights situation in Saudi Arabia remains dire, with government critics, women's rights campaigners, Shia activists and human defenders still being harassed and jailed, often after blatantly unfair trials. The closed-door trial of Jamal Khashoggi's alleged killers was widely perceived to be a part of a wider whitewash by the authorities, and Saudi Arabia is accused of a catalogue of crime. The phrase, human rights, doesn't even appear in the Premier League's owners and directors test, despite English football supposedly adhering to FIFA standards. As with Formula One, elite boxing, golf or tennis, an association with top-tier football is a very attractive means of rebranding a country or person with a tarnished reputation. The Premier League needs to better understand the dynamic of sports washing and tighten its ownership rules.